Hey, what's going on, guys? Brian from Thread Chemistry T-shirt and print company here with you. Hey, so I wanted to jump on here tonight, kind of just, out of the blue, just kind of winging this video real quick, because I was really just mind boggled, just flabbergasted about what I have seen in the last couple hours. If you have seen the title, you probably know what it's about. Anyway, let me give you a little backstory over the last few days, weeks, of how I led up to this. I bought a new place a couple weeks ago, and my business, Thread Chemistry T-shirt and print company, is actually out of my garage. It was out of my old house's garage. And so obviously when you move, you have to move yourself. Well, me not, preparing well enough. Oh yeah, I'm just moving, whatever. I have to move my business too. That entails a lot more on top of moving yourself. Anyway, I have been dealing with just kind of doing one room at a time, getting my orders done. I laid an epoxy floor in my garage. Starting to actually just put up a coat of primer so I can paint the walls in there. Got some new light fixtures in there. Got some new outlets in there. 220 in there so I can put a ceiling heater in. Anyway, none of that's really relevant. So I've been working kind of in room by room. I'll get all my work done for the day. I'll focus on one single room. But right now, I am working on the living room, which is probably the most important and time demanding and the biggest headache for sure, because of electronics, surround sounds, TVs. Just all that good stuff, trying to set up your furniture right. All my smart home hubs are in here, the bridges, yada, yada, yada. It's a lot to do for a single room. Now, what I've been doing the last couple days is putting together, getting everything ready for to get my surround sound set up. Just hung the new TV. Anyway, I worked in electronics for, 8 years-ish. But I haven't worked in electronics for about 10 years. So I started 18 years ago, right? Anyway, I realized that I am using the exact same HDMI cables as the ones that I bought from the electronics store that I worked at. And got me kind of thinking, they are high-end HDMI cables. The cables, the surge protectors, the fiber optics, everything were very, very high end when I bought them, but I still have the same ones, right? And I'm not as into electronics. I still love electronics. I do pay attention to them, but I don't work with them anymore. It doesn't consume my life. I don't have reps coming by teaching me about the new products. I don't have all the products on the floor to play around with and learn, so on and so forth. So I don't know electronics to that extent anymore. Anyway, so I wanted to see, number one, how my HDMI cables are holding up today, only because of how much I spent on them back then. If it was just a couple, HDMI cables from Walmart or Target or whatever, who cares? But I was just kind of curious. And I also, number two, wanted to see what they have out there now, what's going on with HDMI cables, so on and so forth. So anyway, that is what leads me to why I am shooting this quick video. Long story short, short story long. I wanted to do a little bit of research on them, obviously, which I did. And I got to the point where I still see my cables are definitely the manufacturers, which is huge in electronics. Electronics, there's not a lot of money to be made in them. The markets are so saturated. You can think of what, 3, 4, 5 major electronic brands that have been around for a while. You hear about new ones, they fall off, more come, they fall off. But anyway, so I Googled and I YouTubed top 10 HDMI cables now, you know, the best HDMI cables now, premium HDMI cables, best HDMI for surround sound. When I Googled this, I was, have I said flabbergasted yet? Is that, edit. Think someone's pulling a voiceover on me. I would never say flabbergasted. Mind blown. Not by the cables, but what people are posting that are these great cables, these top 10 cables, the best HDMI cables out. Don't buy anything else other than these cables. If you want great cables, these are the ones. To name a few, I saw Amazon Basics more than any. Okay, don't get me wrong, Amazon, they do make quality, reliable products, and they do have an okay HDMI, you know, cable platform. But for as many people as I saw to put them in their top 10, I was just blown away. Amazon Basics, just one, you know, I use it as an example. Some other ones, GE, Philips. I saw some Goldies. I saw, get this, and also in more than a couple, no-name HDMIs. Now that doesn't mean that they're not manufactured by anybody or whatever. They just don't even place their name on the cables or really even on the box. I'm sure you've seen a million of them. Or if you have like DirecTV or Dish, they'll give you cables when you set up your system, and they'll have their logo on the cap of them. And those are kind of the cables that people are saying are some of the best. And I was just shocked. So anyway, I wanted to make this quick video and get it posted up for people that need some decent HDMI cables, who want to, you know, protect their equipment. HDMI cables, they don't just transfer media and audio from your TV to your computer to your speakers to your gaming system. That's not what they do at all. They you know, stop interference. They can go, they can transfer information one way, whereas most all of them transfer two-way, which can cause a little bit of problems. They do, you know, copper and gold linings now with all this, you know, Wi-Fi and all this technology out in the air. You know, one copper plate around, it doesn't do anything anymore. And these type of things can actually damage your electronics in the long run. That's why these are the kind of things that people, when you see comment or other people who say, doesn't even matter what kind of HDMI cables, it's all about ones and zeros from these companies, blah, blah, blah. A lot of people think that is because they don't think about long term. Everybody thinks HDMI cable, okay, that one costs more, so it must, or it should give me a better picture or better sound. Yes, better ones do that, but it's not, you know, it's minimal. But where they come into play, let me tell you, one of the manufacturers I'm going to tell you actually has an HDMI cable out right now for, they are $4,999.99 per foot. Can you believe that? It's crazy. Anyway, what I was saying is that a lot of what these cables produce for you, they protect your equipment, they protect other equipment from themselves, they help longevity, they do transfer much easier, much quicker, and you know, like I said, a little bit of better sound. You don't get a lot of that interruption. You don't get static is a big one with cheap HDMI cables. You don't think you hear it. If you put yourself in a soundproof room by yourself with a TV and a high-end cable and a low-end cable, and you play the same movie, same scene, back to back, you will notice a difference. When you're sitting at home, you have your fan going, you have your kids running around. Don't know anything about that, but you know, you got a lot going on. You're ruffling around, doing whatever, you're eating, might be on the laptop. So you're not paying attention to actually what you're hearing because you're hearing other things. You know, it's all coming in at once, so you don't really hear those other things or necessarily see the better quality. And like I said, not that it's a ton to justify $5,000 a foot. I don't know about that either. But anyway, so I wanted to tell you guys, and again, this is a personal opinion, but number one, these three manufacturers have been around for a very long time. Like I said, they're the three HDMI cables, the three manufacturers of the different HDMI cables that I have, that I bought when I worked in electronics umpteen years ago, 20 years ago or whatever. So they've been around for a very long time. They are super, super reliable, and customer service is a big part with it. And they just make a very good quality HDMI cable for being in the game for so long. Not Amazon Basics, not Fishy, not GE or Philips or no name for that matter. They make okay cables, and that's okay if that's all that you want, you know, is something cheap. Maybe you're just working on a work computer, not yours, right? I mean, but just keep in mind that the life of your electronics comes partially from your HDMI cables. And that's why people always think, oh, it's nothing. The HDMI cables, that's so dumb. Because you can't foresee when your electronics are going to crap out on you, right? So if it happened 3 years down the road, oh man, well, the time came. You don't know that those HDMI cables didn't play a factor in, you know, decreasing the lifespan of that computer by a couple years. So you don't see that. You don't see the long term. You don't see all that stuff. You only look for a better picture and listen for a better sound. Anyway, so here we go with this short video. The top 3 HDMI manufacturers, in my opinion, I would stand tall with them though, are, let me rephrase that. One of these manufacturers are the best. I don't care what anybody says. The other 2 are gonna be in the top 10, probably, you know, 6, 7, 8, 9, somewhere in there, but they still, it's just about how long they've been around, their knowledge, their customer service, you know, a lot of things. And so I think that helps them out a little bit to bump them up, even though they might not have the best cables out there. Anyway, the third best one, I believe, is Monster. Monster cables have been around for a while. I actually have, I think, 3 different HDMIs. I have the Monster White, the Monster Basic, and the Monster Advanced, couple of each. I also have my main surge protector, which I cannot find one anywhere else, is a Monster surge protector. And I bought that also when I worked in electronics, and I believe it still holds to this day. That receiver, that surge protector, if anything gets fried on its watch, so let's say there's a big surge, a big thunderstorm, or something happens and everything pops, if any of my electronics that are plugged into that surge protector die or go bad, they will cover up to another not weird number, but I gotta say it, $999,999.99. Must be an insurance thing for the million. I don't know. And I still have let me actually grab it for you real quick. All right, grabbed a couple cables while I was over there. And like I said, I am fishing wire right now through the back of the walls. So there's dust everywhere, so pardon. Excuse the mess. Anyway, yeah, this is the HDP 850G Power Center Advanced Surge Protection Monster Green Power HD Clean Power Stage 1 filtering. As you can see, it is a beast. And this, it's actually not that much of a beast anymore. Even though it is, it kind of is, but back in the day, can you imagine this 15 years ago? And I just love their setup. But, it's nice, they itemize. They can, receiver, HD TV, satellite, DVR, Blu-ray, what we got? Amplifier, outlet, media, what does that say? Media server, Monster Green Power control outlets, Green Power control. That is this came out kind of when Clean Power is where they were trying to reduce the latency and the interruption from so many electronics starting to come out, wireless stuff starting to come out. This kind of built the surge protectors as of today for premium surge protectors. Anyway, so that's that, and I did grab a couple HDMIs just to show you guys. My fiber optic from my sub to my TV. By the way, if any of you are curious, I have a Polk Audio 7.2 system with a Denon receiver. I have the 950 Denon receiver. I have the Polk Audio RTI A5s, 2 towers, a center, 2 bookshelves, and a left and a right. So, just if you're curious. Anyway, fiber optic cables. You remember these, or do you know of these? Anyway, it goes from the sub to the TV. Well, I guess you would say the TV to the sub transfers the base there, basically is what that is. Anyway, that is also a monster, if you can see that. So, yeah, monster HDMI. This is the white. Let's see, I have a little short, what is that, 4-footer monster. That was a basic. This is a Monster Advanced. It's kind of another one, a little different color. And then this one, that last one was a little bit longer. I think it was a 8-foot. I think another 4-foot, another Monster Basic, I think. And yeah, so I actually only grabbed one of each of the others, but works for me. So Monster, great company, been around for a long while. However, I don't want you to go out and start researching after you hear all this from me because you want to call me a liar about everything and realize that Monster actually has slipped in their game a little bit. I don't know if they're starting to, it's the beginning of the end for them. I hope not. They were my favorite. They were my favorite cable company when I worked at that electronics store. So I hope not, but just in case you do see that or don't see anything about them, which is what I've realized over the last couple years, is it's almost like they've slowly disappeared. Anyway, you can still buy their stuff. The next one, and the second best on my list, are Rocketfish. Rocketfish is another one that's been around for a long time. These are gold plated. You can see 24 karat gold plated Rocketfish. Look at the size of these. Take look at how thick those are. So that just goes to show that they have a little extra lining in there. Rocketfish, same thing. These all have the same, qualities. They have great customer service. They are very knowledgeable, and they've been around forever. Hence, one of the reasons they're so knowledgeable. And they just have always produced good quality cables. So Anyway, I'll probably get a little repetitive. Do I still? I got my tag on. Oops. Anyway, so I might get a little repetitive with these because, like I said, that's what good quality HDMI cable, good customer service, and been around for a long time, knowledgeable. So anyway, last and certainly not least, and the best HDMI cable company out there, in my opinion, do I have to say that? Is Audioquest. The best by far. This is, and by the way, this is the company that has the HDMI cables out right now for $5,000 a foot. Anyway, I did look these up, and they actually still make this exact same HDMI. They've added a lot to their inventory. Not overwhelming. They have they're kind of random. They have cinnamon, they have forest, they have blueberry, they have what are some others? Anyway, they're just random kind of names like that. Ocean, and these, which were the best back when I bought them, and they look like they're about their mid, maybe a little below mid quality of what they offer now. But these are the pearls. You can see, again, 24 karat gold plated, and these guys are known for their, how do I want to put this, dedication in caring about other people's stuff, not them just buying their stuff. They're very, very, very good at creating a cable that will, I don't want to say not only keep your product as par as it can be, but almost improve them, for a lack of a better term, I guess. But and they do that to save your electronics, to give the lifespan of your electronics a longer life. And I love companies like that because they could make it cheaper. Just cut a corner or two. You know how many TVs and receivers and speakers would blow up just that much earlier? And when that happens, people tend to buy more cables. They're not out for quality, or quantity sales. They're out for quality. And they care about your electronics. They care about the manufacturers of the other electronics. It just goes a long way for what they do. And I could get into all that garbage about what these do, but then I would basically be speaking Spanish to you. And to be 100% honest, the knowledge that I do have, the real in-depth stuff, I've been looking at a little bit, but I've seen not a lot, but some of the stuff has changed, so I'm outdated, But anyway, so I just had to get on here, and I had to say something. I could not believe, you know what? I didn't even find one video that had any of these manufacturers in their top 10s or a Google post. And honestly, I didn't find one video or Google post, blog, vlog, whatever, that even had a halfway decent HDMI cable. Out of, there were a lot of repeaters, which like the Amazon Basics, like I said, the GE and the Philips, but there are a lot of other ones, and I can't believe people are telling you that these are great HDMI cables. I don't know why it bothers me so much. Like, I know people lie online all day, every day. People do it for a living. I think I lie. Nope. But, that's just kidding. But you know how it is, and I don't know why it bothers me so much. I guess, 15 years ago, just kind of came up and kicked me in the rear end and said, let's have some fun with this stereo. And then I just, got to doing some research to make sure everything's good, and just kind of bit me like, hey, don't let people go out and buy these crappy HDMIs. And don't get me wrong, you know, if you're on a work computer, who cares about that, right? Go get that $6, you know, Target HDMI cable. But I honestly and truly do believe and recommend at least don't buy the cheapest. Please, please. You know, and even saying that, from the cheapest to the most expensive at, you know, Walgreens, it's not doing much, but it's something. Maybe go to Best Buy or you know, whatever electronic stores you have. Comp USA, is that even still a place? I don't know where that came from. GameStop, you know, anything. Ford and Garland, if you're in the Des Moines area or West Des Moines area. But you buy a couple decent HDMI cables, hook them up to your favorite, most expensive, a little bit of both. Even if you only buy one, hook it into your favorite, and you know, respect your electronics. They are soon to be running us, which is a whole nother story. I don't know if you guys listen to Joe Rogan or I gotta go. I'll go on for hours. Anyway, guys, I just hope that if it didn't teach you anything, opened your eyes a little bit to HDMI cables, because they get such a bad reputation. But anyway, on that note, guys, I think it's time for me as Grandpa. 8:45, 8:46, 14 minutes to get to the bed. So I am gonna hoof it upstairs. I hope you guys found this video informative and not a huge waste of your time. And remember, grab a decent couple HDMI cables and respect your electronics. And until next time, guys, have a good one.